Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will be chairing the 43rd GST Council meeting via video conference. This is going to be at around 11 a.m. today. The Council is meeting for the first time in nearly 8 months. The meeting will be attended by the Minister of State for Finance Anurag Thakur, Finance Ministers of States and Union Territories, and senior officers from the Union Government as well as states will also be participating. Now, the GST Council meeting is likely to be a fiery one. It's likely to discuss a reduction in the tax rate on COVID medicines, vaccines and medicinal equipment, as well as means to make up for the shortfall in the revenues promised to the states. Ahead of the first meeting of the top decision-making body, the finance ministers of 8 states have decided that they are going to get together, and they've devised a joint strategy to press for a zero tax rate on COVID essentials. As you can see, taxes on vaccine, drugs, medicinal supplies to be lowered is what they're going to demand. The states will also demand an outright central grant rather than agreeing to borrow more to meet the shortfall in cess. So that's the other big point that the non-BJP ruled states are going to be pressing for. They want that that the states are in favor of a central grant. They don't want to borrow anymore for meeting the shortfall in cess, and they want a grant to be given. So it's all set to be a fiery meeting. It's the 43rd GST Council meeting, and as we said, it's in over 7 months that the GST Council is meeting. Let's go across to Sunil Prabhu now for more. And Sunil, give us more details. And as you've already mentioned, that the non-BJP ruled states are all ready with their demands, which they're going to take to the finance minister.
That's right, Gargi, as you rightly pointed out, after 7 months. So there is a broad consensus on matters which are bread and butter for you and me and for many people who have been affected by COVID. That is drugs related to that, COVID-related goods, as well as, of course, vaccines. Those are going to be lowered. For vaccines, at present, it's 5%. It's likely to be 0% with a 0.01% input tax, so that some benefit can be given and ensure that it is not inflationary and whatever measures need to be taken on that ground. So I think there's a broad consensus on that. What's really a big issue is that the GST was seen as a game changer. And if you recall the narrative that was given at that time, and everybody was asking for the GST, that it will increase GDP by 2%, that it will increase exports, that states will get more revenue. What's happened in the last 4 years after its inception has been, of course, 2 pretty bad years, last year as well as this year. And that's the reason why states are asking for more compensation. They were assured compensation. The center had last year done a to and fro and finally conceded to their demand in terms after the Attorney General's opinion had been given about revenue shortfall and how it should be met. And it's in that backdrop that they're going to once again ask, because they had to borrow excessively during the last year, and this year being again a pretty bad year, it's in that context that they will be putting in their demands. How the states and the center work together, because they have always been bipartisan support, and that's the great thing about it. Barring for one occasion when Mr. Thomas Isaac insisted on voting on a lottery issue, both her predecessor, the late Mr. Arun Jaitley, as well as Nirmala Sitharaman, have worked together with the states to ensure that there is bipartisan support on most issues. So let's hope there is a consensus, but definitely opposition finance ministers have met and are demanding a greater compensation.